This is a part 2 of my last making decisions tutorial. I will be following off where I left with that one. So in the last tutorial, I showed you some of the basics with creating decisions and linking them to events. Today we are going to expand upon that and connect this decision to men-at-arms, add in costs, and also show you how to limit who can make the decision even further. I wanted to say thank you as well to the people who are supporting me in the last videos and every video before that. Keeps me motivated to make more of these videos, so thank you for that. So we're back in our test_decision.txt, and the first thing we want to do is add in our costs for our decision. So underneath is valid showing. I'm going to add in a cost equals curly brackets, and then we could add in gold equals 25 or prestige equals 25 or the piety equals 25. So we could add any of these in here. I'm going to have all of them just for the showing for the example. And then we're going to go down into the effect here, and then just above the trigger event, we're going to have a custom tooltip. So custom underscore tooltip equals, and then decision underscore unlock underscore test underscore knights dot tt. So this is going to be the tooltip that lets you know that you are able to unlock your men-at-arms. And then the hidden effect, so hidden underscore effect equals curly brackets, and then add underscore to underscore global underscore variable underscore list. And then we're going to put a name as unavailable unique decisions, and then put the target below that as flag unlock underscore test underscore knights. Also, before we go any further, I wanted to say a huge thanks to Trig, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, from the Lord of the Rings Realms in Exile team for helping answer a question about connecting men-at-arms to decisions. This is partly his code for that. And then the next thing after this is we're going to go up to the is underscore shown, and then we're going to add in a new variable in here. It's called has underscore primary underscore title. And then we're going to have the title is :e underscore HRE, so the empire of HRE. So we're going to limit this decision to only the person who owns the HRE. And then we also want to add in below that a not equals curly brackets is underscore target underscore in underscore global variable list, and then equals curly brackets. Inside of that, we're going to have a name equals unavailable underscore unique underscore decisions, and then the target for that equals flag unlock underscore test underscore knights. So what this is doing essentially is once you have used this decision once, you will get this hidden effect of having this this flag here, which will then make it so that you can't take the decision again. And then after this, what we're going to do is we're going to take our men-at-arms. So in my case, I'm just going to copy paste the men-at-arms from a previous tutorial, which I will leave in the description or on the screen right now. So what we want to do is inside of common, we want to have a new folder and call it men underscore arms underscore types. Then inside of that, we want to have our men-at-arms.txt. So in my case, it's the test underscore knights from the previous tutorial. And then we want to make a new folder, which I'm not copy pasting. So inside of common, we're going to create a new folder and then call it scripted underscore triggers. And then inside of the scripted triggers, we want to create a new file called zz underscore regiment underscore triggers.txt. So this is my own naming for this file. You could name it whatever you like. I'm just going to call it regiment triggers. And then within that, we're going to have a new trigger and call it can underscore recruit underscore test underscore knight. So this would, you would swap this out for whatever name your men-at-arms are. And then underscore trigger equals curly brackets, and then inside of that we have and equals curly brackets, and we're going to have some specifications as to who can actually recruit this. So culture equals curly brackets, and inside of that has underscore cultural pillar equals heritage underscore central underscore Germanic, and then below that we're going to have an or so or equals curly brackets, and then culture equals culture Franconian, and then culture equals inside of curly brackets any underscore parent underscore culture underscore r underscore above. and then equals inside of curly brackets. We're going to have this equals culture colon Franconian, and then remove the equal sign there. So what this is kind of doing is it's really, in my case, it's pointing towards the 1066 Heinrich the Fourth, I believe. Only he can take this decision or have this trigger. And then below the and statement, we're going to have the has underscore primary title, and then the title colon e underscore HRE. And then below that, we're going to have is underscore target, and then in global variable lists, and then inside of the curly brackets, we're going to have name equals unavailable underscore unique underscore decisions, and then the target equals flag colon unlock underscore test nights. And then we need to go back into our min alarms txt, and then inside of the can recruit, we want to actually have the trigger be connected to them. So can underscore recruit underscore test underscore nights trigger, and then we're going to have equals yes. So if that trigger is true, then you can recruit these min alarms. Now that is the end of the txt's coding, so we're going to move on to the localization. Inside of this localization here, so the my test decision, we're going to go down and then go decision underscore unlock underscore test underscore nights dot tt. So this is the code we added in before, and then the can recruit, and then inside of square brackets, we're going to have get MAA, so capital G, capital M, capital A, and then some brackets, and then inside of single quotations, we're going to test underscore nights, or your name of your min alarms, and then dot get name with a capital N. And then outside of the square brackets, we're going to have as, and then another square brackets, and then min underscore at underscore arms, and then shift backslash, so that creates this line here, and then E, and then remove the space at the end. So what this will do is allow you to hover over the test night's name inside of the decision pop-up and see what they actually do. And then it'll also have the min alarms as a link as well, so you could hover over that and see the actual information about min alarms. And then I forgot to copy paste also the test regiment. So inside of English folder, we're going to copy paste our min alarms regiment.yml. So this is the localization for our min alarms. I forgot to say as well is with the regiment triggers.txt, we want to go and change the save with encoding. So down the bottom right, we've got UTF-8, save with encoding, and UTF-8 with bomb. So it will work in game. Now all we need to do is upload the mod and click play. So when uploading our mod, what we want to do is go to mod library and then click on upload mod. Select mod and scroll down to the one you were just working on, in my case test decision, and then Steam Workshop, and then upload mod. And once that's uploaded, we can go to our playset and then sort by most recent, and then subscribe to it, and go to our Steam Workshop, files you've posted, and then find the mod you were just working on, unsubscribe, or just subscribe depending on whether or not you already were, and then it should increase your file size. But now that we're finished with that, we can now click play. Once you've launched the game, you can click on new game. And in my case, I want to go to 1066 and then check if the decision is working. So it should be under realm decisions, but since this ruler does not have the brave trait, I can add that in and then click on that. So our localization here, can recruit test knights and min alarms, is all here. It just needs some prestige. Now it has the costs as well of 25 of each. So click on that, and that should unlock my min alarms there. Cool. And I'll quickly switch character to one that isn't Franconian and see if you can also hire the troops. You cannot. Okay, so this all seems to be working great. So that is the end of this tutorial. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe if you want to see more tutorials, and let me know if you want to see any tutorials in specific in the future. Cheers.